All right, so this is going to be my weekly watch list for this week. This week's only going to be a 4-day trading day, so these are setups I'm going to be watching for these 4 trading days, so Tuesday to Friday. So we're going to get straight into it. The first one I'll be looking at is Target, ticker TGT. So what we see here is on the weekly time frame, we have this clear uptrend. Remember this indicator? We have this clear uptrend going back to the end of January, multiple touches. Now, we're hitting the supply or resistance level around 150. So what I'm watching for here is a breakout over 150 for a move into 154, then 159. So why I like this here is we have these multiple tests here of this level, but rejections. But now on Friday, so last week of trading, last day of last week, Friday, the market was down 1%. While Target was actually up almost 2.5%. So a lot of relative strength on increased volume on this name. So I do think that this clears 150. We can see a nice move up, and earnings are coming up in beginning of March. So we could see a little run up into earnings. So that's my thesis on Target. And now if you go down to the hourly time frame on this thing, it's getting pretty tight right into that resistance. So I do think that this can break out. But my risk would be a candle close below the uptrend would be my risk on this, or a failed breakout. So that's basically what I'm looking for on Target. Now, the next one I'm watching is Oxy, ticker or Occidental, ticker OXY. Now, what I like here is we have this downward trend. We have this downward trend line going back to October, which has had multiple tests, and now we finally broke over the trend line. So now what I think we can see here is a possible push up into 61.8 and above that 63, and even above that we could see back into the supply zone around 66 to 68. But another thing I want to watch for here is we have this 200-day moving average here. So on the 200-day moving average, we're right there. So what I'd like to see is us clear the 200, and then once we clear that, we can see the move into these upside targets. Now, another thing I like about it is the volume. The increased volume on this move up is something I like. That makes it me more confident in the setup. And on the weekly time frame, we have a lot of volume and a strong engulfing bullish candle here. So I like that. Now, another reason that I like the Oxy setup is because of crude oil, or at least crude oil futures. If we see on the daily time frame, we finally cleared the 200-day moving average, which has been strong resistance in the past. We had rejection. Now we finally cleared it. So I do think oil has room up to 81, but we're going to have to see for that. So yeah, that's my thesis on Oxy. Now the next one I'll be looking at is Boeing, ticker symbol BA. We have this big sell-off here on high volume, and now we're forming this bearish pennant going sideways on declining volume, and we're moving tighter into this range. So I do think that this can, another thing is it's rejected the 200-day moving average multiple times here, rejection. So I do think this can break down, probably will break down to the downside because of this being a bearish pennant. I think the downside levels to watch here are 200, 197, 190, and 183. Yeah, it's pretty simple setup, just a high volume move down, now sideways in a bearish pennant, and I think this can break down to the downside. So not much to say there. It's pretty simple setup. Invalidation would probably be a breakout to the upside would be the invalidation there. Now next setup, CVS, ticker CVS. We have this little uptrend here from a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, moving back up into this supply. So we're basically consolidating right under the supply, but also holding the uptrend. So what I do think here is this, I'm open to playing this to both sides. So my entry here would be if we break down to the downside out of this trend line, I would look for that move down to 74, then possibly below that the 200-day moving average. But if we can clear the supply, I would look for a move up into 79, then 80.85, and then above that 82, then above that even 83.5 would be the levels to watch on that. But CVS, another one, is pretty simple. I want to see a clear the supply for an entry to the upside, or a breakdown of this trend line for an entry to the downside. And now if we move down to the hourly and look at that setup, yeah, just rejecting, but also getting tighter as we go sideways under that. So I do think this could break out to the upside, but if it doesn't, I'm open to playing to the downside too. Now, next one we have is TLT. We have this key level here around 92.4 key level. So what I do think here is we could see, we've held this very strong in the past. We had a hold right here. We had a hold right here, and we also had a hold here of this level. So I do think this is a pretty strong level, and we could see a move up off of it, back up into 95. But my risk here would be a daily close below this line would be a stop loss on this. So this is a play I would probably size pretty lightly into, because TLT you can't really do technical analysis on, and be looking at the 10-year instead. But yeah, I do think that's a really good setup here to look at on TLT. But yeah, calls are really cheap, so that's pretty much what I would be looking for there. My eyes are tearing up. Oh my god, allergies. All right, yeah, so that's really what I'll be looking for there. Now, next one is Tesla. Oh my! Give me a second. All right, we're good now. So what I see here is on the hourly time frame, we have this flag going sideways after this big move up. If you guys know, we caught this big move up here with calls and made over 100% here. So yeah, what I'm be watching for now is this sideways into this flag or this pennant, and then possibly a breakout to the upside to 207, then 212. So I would watch for that. Pretty simple on Tesla, just a normal pennant or bull flag. Next one, Rivian. Just looking at it for earnings, this looks kind of like a basing double bottom forming here, but earnings has to be confirmation for that. So pretty simple again. Now, next one, PayPal. What I like here is we have this hourly pennant or flag forming. Just want to see a breakout to the upside or downside for confirmation. Not to enter a trade on that. Really simple again. Next one, Goldman Sachs, ticker GS on the daily. We have this range we've been trading in since the middle of December. This range going sideways. So basically, really simple again. Over 394 for calls, below 375 for puts. Literally as simple as that. Now, last one I'm going to look at here is CCJ, or ticker CCJ, Chemical Corporation. So we broke down, and now we're forming a little base at this demand zone here that's been strong in the past. Rejection, bounce, now possibly bounce again if we see some strength come in here. And it looks like selling volume starting to die down now. So what I'll just look for is a clear of this little trend line here for some upside, for an upside move. But this is I'm not watching this too closely, just have it on my watch list. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this watch list that I have for this week. If I add anything else, I'll put it in the comment section below on this video. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I make a watch list video every single week. And yeah, if I add anything, I'll put it below. And I'll see you guys in the next one.